Formula 4 here tonight, and my name is Yestin Thomas. Unfortunately, we do not have our George Morgan, who is unavailable tonight, so you're stuck with me. My name is Yestin Thomas, and welcome to Formula 4 round 10 of season 1 here at Quarter. Obviously, we're waiting for one other driver. I think that driver is here now, which is brilliant to see. And we'll be getting ready. We'll be readying up quite shortly ahead of this USA Grand Prix, which is held at the Circuit of America's 3.4 mile circuit, which was debuted in 2012. That brilliant battle between Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel that saw the then McLaren driver come out on top to take the victory. Obviously, Seb Vettel won again in 2013. The lap record, in fact, is held by Charles Leclerc with a 1:36.169, which was set in 2019. This is a very lovely track if you get it right, but if you get it wrong, it's very hard and very rewarding if you get it right, obviously. As we wait for the drivers to ready up now, which is set to be a fascinating Grand Prix. Unfortunately, Ramsell in the BMW Pot 4 driver is unfortunate. He can't make it tonight, but we do have a replacement in Bannister, who's come in as a reserve driver running the Scottish flag, which is very interesting to see. And if you look at last time we were in Abu Dhabi, actually, and it was very tight between the top guys with Pillis. Total P's were battling away for the lead. Obviously Glock was there as well, but it was Droftas who picked up his first race win of the season, and he was very impressive indeed with the way that he managed to nick it on the penalty system that Cord must have in this Formula 1 game. Just waiting for a few more drivers to ready up. It looks like there will be a bit of a delay to this qualifying, for the full qualifying that you get in real life Formula 1. I think they're waiting on the invite to be sent, which obviously is very important that all invites are sent, especially in league racing, to make sure that everyone turns up and there'll be no complaints afterwards then if people do not turn up. And hopefully we'll be in for a good race. If you're in the chat, please comment down below and get involved as we're about to ready up, and the drivers look to be ready up rather quickly, as the majority of the field are ready up. So the session start timer is going down. And welcome to X Gaming. Thank you very much. I hope I will do a good job and satisfy all Formula 4 fans who are intrigued to watch this USA Grand Prix tonight. And Gav, it's all right. At least you got here in time, because we haven't got officially underway yet, as the drivers will be now selecting their tyre options for the race. Unfortunately, we can't get any input on that one, which would be a bit of a shame in fairness. But obviously it's up to the drivers what they want. Chazza there, obviously he will be out on track quite shortly. He's getting his support in from TV. He's hoping for a good result. And last time out in Abu Dhabi, it was very interesting with how well the GCB cars did with the 1-3 for Droftas and Paulie Orange, who did well with P's that managed to get P2 at the end, with the penalties playing amongst it. Like I said, Yas Marina, and this completely different track. This is Quarter, I like to call it, or Circuit of the Americas, if you want the really long way of saying it, but Quarter for short. And hopefully we will be in for a very intriguing Grand Prix. But first, we have to do the qualifying sessions. 3 sessions is this one. The first one will be 18 minutes long. With it's a bit of a rain. Now we are talking about excitement here in Formula 4. Some downpour at Quarter, and we will have a bit of a damp track, it looks to be. And well, I believe that's intermediate conditions. Welcome to the stream, everyone. You haven't missed much. There is some wet weather conditions here at America, and no one's braving it for the opening 30 seconds. But we do have some wet running, and there's someone in the background. Can't really see who it is. It is ice streams. They're all out on intermediate tyres, so they should be able to see. Now what tyres that the drivers are on. And And Gav is, yeah, fully agree with you. If it wasn't hard enough to drive on this track, just chuck some water down and it'll be even more exciting to see as Streams in the JCB comes out as the first man out on track for this qualifying session. And he's just trying to get the car around in this outlap. Very easy to do some mistakes on this track. You think it's nice, big and wide with plenty of runoff areas with grass, gravel, and obviously a bit more track on extensions, especially through these chicanes. But it's very easy to lose the back end at certain positions and put yourself in the wall. That could easily ruin your qualifying lap, and could easily ruin your race as well, especially in race trim. As I'm not sure what the conditions are for the race. I will be checking up on that. As soon as possible, I will be able to let you know what is going on. And we'll be looking at the Drivers' Championship, which Droftas, after his win last week, he is at the top of the tree with his JCB teammate Paulie Orange only 4 points behind. So Paulie Orange, a pot 2 driver, but second in the drivers' standings. Very impressive from him. Alan in third with Glock in fourth. Then you got Pillars and Andenge closely behind, completing the top 6. In the pots, you got Droftas leading pot 1. And you got Paulie Orange and Alan, they're miles ahead in pot 2. But if you'd put them in pot 1, they'd be second and third respectively. So that is very good to see with those two doing so well. Pot 3, Matteo is the man top in that one in the Nintendo car, and in pot 4 it is Paul Watson in the Jaguar, who's definitely been a fan favourite this season, and he is leading that one. Level on points with Tui actually in pot 4. In the teams, you got Nintendo leading the way on 453 points. Then there's Jaguar with about around about 71 points behind. JCB, my apologies, not Jaguar. Jaguar sitting third, well, just about 46 points behind. And then you have MTV in fourth, and then BMW at the tail of the Constructors' Championship. Hopefully we will get some lap times in, as Streams has unfortunately invalid his first lap, which won't do him a world of good, but he'll have plenty enough time to go around again to set another lap time. Leave your predictions for who will be eliminated in Q1, or maybe you're going to put our early pro prediction. Any predictions are very necessary and will be accepted in the Formula 4 channel. And just waiting for a few drivers to get out on lap. And thank you, Gav, for the support, and hopefully I'll be able to keep it up for the entirety of the race as a few other drivers start their laps. One of them including Blaze, the pot 1 driver for BMW. He is out on the lap, as well as Matteo, who is doing very well indeed. Is Matteo this season? He's been very, very good especially in getting himself into Q3, which is very good for Matteo, he is championship leader of pot 3. He's doing really well to get himself into Q3 more of the time. And I've just had confirmation from the Discord chat. There's a full wet race, so we're in for an absolute treat here in Quarter, reminiscent to the 2014 or 2015 battle, I believe, between Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, where they went into each other at turn 1. Hopefully we won't see that again, as Rosberg was very disappointed with that incident, in fairness to him, after that, with chucking his podium hat back at Lewis, which was quality entertainment at the time. But we will have a full wet race here at Quarter, which is obviously going to be very exciting to see. And it should be a good challenge for the drivers. There's a challenge for the drivers in the dry, as Paulie Orange sets a 1:45.3. There's a benchmark, and Matteo got a little bit loose there with the front end. There's a yellow flag in sector 2, but that's going down the back straight. This will be just for someone left in by another driver. As what can Matteo do as he breaks into turn 20, the final corner? Can he get himself somewhere? He will get a lap in. There will be a 1:46.8, 1.5 seconds behind Paulie Orange in the intermediate conditions, and that puts him P2 for now. But there are plenty of other drivers to set laps, as Blaze puts himself to the tops of the timesheets with a 1:44.807. That's a good lap from the BMW, especially to get his confidence in, and hopefully he can keep it up. He was quite quick in Abu Dhabi, but couldn't be quick enough, especially with the top drivers. So hopefully he will be able to keep up his good form here, as Pillars knocks about 7/10 off that with a 144.182. That's good enough for the top position so far in qualifying. Still with those 4 drivers to set a lap. But let's see if anyone else can come across the line. Eric is at 6, and his BMW is at the S's, while Total P's is coming into the long, swooping right-hander, which is very reminiscent to the Turn 8 of Turkey that we saw in this year's Formula 1. Obviously, we didn't see Quarter in the real life Formula 1 calendar, but we're going to see it tonight in the Formula 1 game. And Total P's will come round the final corner. What lap time will he set? P2 last time out in Yas Marina, and he puts himself P2 again with a 144.5 flat, so he's bang on there with the 144.5. We've had a couple of lap times here. X with a 147.1. Bannister, the reserve driver in the white livery, puts himself P7 with a 147.159. And then just sneak himself in there. And Chewy is the latest at a lap time with a 149.3. Still waiting for other drivers to come round and set lap times. I think it will be all shot down. The next one to come out and complete a lap. This is looking good for the BMW at the moment as he comes into turn 19. Now soon to be to turn 20 and looking to get a lap time in and hopefully get themselves into Q2. He comes across the line with a 148.1. That's good enough for P9 for now. And Pillars has gone quicker again. He's the first man to dip into the 143. He's a 143.992. And there's going to be some blistering lap times from the quicker drivers in these wet conditions. LP is slowed down massively there. He was invalid. He did have an invalid lap as Sloth puts himself P6 with a 145.587. It's a very good lap for the MTV car. Still waiting for a couple of drivers to finish their laps. Streams has started again after invalid his first attempt in the JCB. Still got the likes of Aylan, who once was championship leader. He's now down several positions after the disappointment of Abu Dhabi, but he's looking to find some pace here. And Total P's has beaten Pillars with a 143.854. That puts him good enough for P1 for now. But Aylan will go on board with Aylan actually as he goes down the back straight and just clipping the hairpin there. Oh no, that's the wrong one. That is Team 11, I believe. Now going down the back straight. Obviously you have DRS down here, but obviously you don't have it in the intermediate conditions like we are seeing tonight. Before breaking down into the second hairpin of turn 12, make sure he gets it right on the apex, which he does. And before going out to the tricky turn 13 and 14 section, which is always hard to get in the dry. You can especially have a snap roast here right about there before breaking into the double left-hander in turn 15. Make sure he gets a nice good exit before going through 16, 17 and 18, which is looking good for the Nintendo Pop 2 driver, who's obviously second in the Pop 2 Championship. Before going into turn 19 and then finishing off the lap with turn 20 as Paul Watson's unfortunately left the session. The internet issues there for the Jaguar driver, who's obviously joint top of Pot 4 Championship, and Aylan sets a 144.422, puts him P3 momentarily, but we're still waiting for his teammate Block, who has shown some brilliant pace this season. Unfortunately, with a couple of safety cars, has cost him in many races this season. Hungary, Abu Dhabi, so there's many incidents of that happening. We might see one tonight with the conditions being as it is, and hopefully it doesn't affect Glock after he's getting a lot of stick from fellow drivers that he is notorious for doing mistakes under the safety car or pitting under the safety car, which is costing him the race. So yeah, it's very unfortunate there. Someone who has caught my attention is Bloomstar, who's up at the P9, as well as LP, who's in P8. And they're both doing well. They were struggling last time out, but they're both doing very good jobs. As Glock has sent the field to say beat that with a 143.666, over a tenth faster than P's, and P's and Pillars have set almost the same lap time, which is very impressive. P's keeps on to P2 because of the way that it works in Formula 1. That if you cross the line first, we'll set the same lap time. You you get the position in front. Our race winner last time out, Dropped Ass, is coming through the first sector on his first run here in qualifying one. Let's get on board with him as he goes through the chicane of 8 and 9 before going downhill slightly for the little apex of turn 10 before braking into the hairpin of turn 11, the first of two, with a long back straight in the middle of it. He's in 4th gear there, which is obviously to minimise traction being in a higher gear, as he flies down the back straight with 6.5 minutes left of this qualifying session. Him and Chazza in the MTV are yet to set lap times. Well, Chazza is still in the pits, unfortunately, so hopefully we'll be able to see him come out for the remainder of this session. If not, there'll be a bit of a disappointment for the MTV car, as I hope you're all enjoying as we're on board with Drop Dash here, going into turn 15. Make sure he gets the angles right for the apex and on exit. There's a slow car there parked in the way, but it's well out the way as our championship leader in the JCB flies round and heading into the penultimate corner. Make sure he doesn't run too wide or cut the corner before going into turn 20, which he should be able to get fine, as Glock goes even quicker with a 43.4, and Drop Dash gets himself up to P5 with a 1:44.508. He's over a second behind Glock, who's set a blistering lap time there. That's a very impressive lap, and Sloth has retired, but I believe that is in the pit lane, so he should be fine regarding his availability in Q2. He shouldn't be in too much danger of not being involved in that session. There's a slow car VS is, but that's just again out of way, as Pillars looks to set yet another lap on that 7 intermediates. There's some drivers going really long on these sets. That must have been some sort of banker going really long on these opening sets of inters. This is Pillars' 5th lap on them, which must mean that either some of them are in lack of practice to the wet weather conditions, or they feel like that there's improvement in the tyre, which would be very interesting to see. As Chazza, we do get to see Chazza come out with just under 5 minutes left at Q1. Hopefully he'll be able to get a lap time in that will put himself in the top 15 to go through. As it stands, he'll be losing ice creams all shot down. Paul Watson, who's unfortunately left the session, is still no news with him joining back. Energetic 6 and Chazza, he's retired, but I believe that is in the pit lane. I cannot see anything going astray for the Jaguar there, as many drivers are now either in the pits or out on out laps, especially if we're in the bottom pack. If you're in the top, I'd say top 4, you're definitely safe for the next part of qualifying, but you could get very close. With depends how the track gets. Siemens Rubber gets on the track, especially with those intermediate conditions, and hopefully they will be able to see the improvement that they want to get themselves into Q2. LPE doing a solid job in P10. Very good start for that man in the Jaguar. He's looking, and Blaze is retired. That's in the pit lane. Yeah, that is in the pit lane, and Glock's retired as well. So they both think they've done enough, but Blaze must be out of this session. There must be some sort of incident, as he beached there in the pit lane, which would be very, very interesting to see if he has. Glock and Pillars have both retired in the pit, so they're fine. But Blaze could be out of this qualifying session as Paul Watson rejoins with just under 3 minutes to go. It'll be very close to see if he can get himself in the cars, all shot down. Starts a lap of this Circuit of the Americas going into turn 1. Make sure he gets the apex right. He doesn't quite clip it, but that'll do as he goes downhill before reaching the S's. This is the fast, free-flowing opening sector that we get here, the Circuit of the Americas, which he tries to get right. He runs a little bit wide there, what will compromise his run. He flips the apex there, which he's done well. First second split, he is 4 tenths up on his personal best, which would be very good for him in this stage of qualifying. And he looks for improvement as he goes in turn 11, the hairpin, the first big 2, and he's looking for improvements in that BMW, who unfortunately are missing Ramsell, who's unavailable tonight. So there's a big blow for BMW regarding points in the constructors, especially as they are fourth and last in Formula 4. As also down gets to turn 12. Make sure he gets this right. As Blaze has left the session, actually, that could be some more connection issues on the part of Blaze this time. The pot 1 driver for BMW. So it doesn't look really good for BMW with Blaze retired and now we've left the session, which doesn't look good for him. As also down looks for improvement in this lap. You can see the second sector split unfortunately, so I won't be able to tell you how much he's up by now, as he is coming around the long right-hander, going to turn 19, which quick left-hander, which he gets right before getting into the last corner. Aylan's retired from the session, I believe that's in the pits as well, so he should be fine. As here comes Allshot down, and he puts himself P11 with a 146.663. As it stands, that's good enough for a place in Q2. Chaza has put himself from the foot of the grid to P9 with a 145.749. That will also be good enough for qualifying 2 as our top 3 chance to leader Matteo. He is currently in the drop zone. What can he do? He gets out of it with a 146.780. There's not much separating Bannister in P11 and Matteo in P14. You could even go as down to saying Bloomstar is in P18 in the JCB. He is still involved in this qualifying session, and he would want to say from the day he would want to get himself into Q2 as we're in the final 30 seconds with Bloomstar on the lap heading into turn 12. And hopefully he will be able to set the lap time he needs to get himself into the next part of qualifying, and hopefully he will be able to get himself into Q2 with ease as we're on board with him now. And unfortunately, a bit connection issues here. I'll try and sort that out, Gav, but I'm not too sure if I can. I'll try to turn my mic down. My mic sometimes a little bit faulty. But Bloomstar heading into the corner and forward into turn 20, but he's aborted on it, I believe. That does not look good. There's an invalidation there, so that must be gutting for him as he is out of qualifying. He's going to start in P16 as there's still a couple of drivers yet to finish their lap streams. He's one of them. Paul Watson is back on the field of play after his disconnection earlier on in the session, but Streams is down in P18. He is looking for a spot into Q2. He needs to find a big improvement in fairness to him, but he's ran wide there. That won't help him at all as he heads into turn 15 and looking to find an improvement in Q1. And it's nice to see that I have support from George Morgan himself, which is brilliant to see on this Monday evening. And it's a shame that he's not with us this evening in the comms box doing his stuff with his technology stuff that he does that is far too complicated for me. But he's doing a good job as Streams looks to get himself into Q2. He comes up to the line with onto tyres and he gets himself up to P16. That won't be enough. But Chewy's also been knocked out as well, which is massive news. X is unfortunately out. He is forced in after invalidation, but it's all down to Paul Watson. What can he do? He's slowest out of the runners so far, but he's right ahead in the final corner. Can he get himself into Q2, not Q3? And he's run wide, and it doesn't look good for him. An improvement in his lap time, but it's going to be P20 for the Jaguar, who obviously found it difficult in those conditions. And unfortunately we lose Paul Watson, X, Bloomstar, Streams and Chewy from the session. I believe we will also lose Blaze with the way that the Formula 1 games works. I believe he must have crashed it heading into the pit entry, which is yes, a little bit embarrassing, but I believe I must have done that before in a time trial or something like that. But that'll be big disappointment for Blaze if he's out at Q1. Welcome all to the stream. Yeah, thank you Joftas for reminding me that it's going to get even worse in the race, and hopefully it will be a good race. X there, 7/10 up and ran out of fuel. That is very unfortunate. But here are the results for Q1. Glock top in the timesheets by 4/10. Then you get Peas and Pillars who set the exact same lap time. Then behind was Aylan and Denge. Joftas there only 6.5 tenths behind. It looks close between the top 6. Then here comes the rest of the field, Paulie Orange. And then it gets very close from Chazza all the way down to Sloth there, 6th to 7th, 8th to 10th, my apologies. They're within just over a tenth. Then LP, Energetic 6, Bannister all shot down, all managed to avoid the Q1 drop. And out of this session is Blaze, Chewy, Streams, Bloomstar, X and Paul Watson, unfortunately, starting at P20. Blaze will be disappointed with himself as he retired out on track somewhere, and unfortunately I didn't quite manage to capture it. But a big disappointment for Blaze there. Ramsell, who's unfortunately not with us tonight, he's showing his support for BMW, which is brilliant to see. And hopefully he'll be back next week as they head to Monza. As Q2 is underway, 15 minutes of qualifying is upon us, where we will lose 4 drivers in this session. Obviously not 5 like we see in real life, as we will lose 4 with Blaze unfortunately not with us in this session, as first BMW comes out. That will be all shot down, I believe. Is this all BMW track? Or Energetic 6 is the one. There's 2 BMWs in this session. Would have been 3 if Blaze didn't find a wall and put it in it. But many drivers coming out very early on in this session, and unfortunately for Ramsell, he's out for 10 to 16 days. It's a big blow for BMW, that is, and the constructors. They will be missing the driver for at least another week or so, maybe 2 weeks maybe. Might miss the next 2 races, which would be a big blow. But USA, this is the qualifying of importance. Arguably the most exciting qualifying in real life Formula 1. With Q2, especially with the midfield battle in real life, hopefully will be even better next season. But yeah, we are in Formula 4, and hopefully we'll see some lap times coming rather soonly, as drivers are opting for the outlap or just staying in the pits. And Bannister, our reserve car, is the latest to leave the pits in the white, and we do have some gameplay volume, which is blessingly in my ear for the first time tonight. And yeah, so hopefully we'll be in for a good qualifying session, as the drivers just tiptoeing their way around the circuit of the Americas before starting their laps. As I believe there might be pillars. Energetic 6 will be the first one to was the first one out, but he was stopped on track and drivers by, and it will be pillars, in fact, who will be the first man to set a lap time, as he is about to start his lap here in the intermediate conditions. As he comes across the line and goes up the hill into turn 1. Very reminiscent of Austria, obviously, but a bit steeper. Going into turn 1, make sure he gets here the entry and exit right, which he does, before going downhill into the S's. It's very crucial to get right, especially in these conditions, and hopefully we'll be able to get it right, which is looking good so far in these intermediate conditions. And there's obviously a purple first sector for now, is the first one to set the sector time in this qualifying session, as he heads down the hill into turn 11, the first of the 2 hairpins, before going down this very long back straight before turn 12, and hopefully he'll be on for a good lap here, which will be brilliant to see. And as he heads down into turn 12, his yellow flag is in sector 3, but that is for drivers letting others by, which is a very good place to do it actually, in sector 3, just before the start of the lap. As Pillars here looks to get into turn 15, attack turn 15, run wide for clipping the apex, one entry before him, whack out wide for the curb on the outside, before going through turn 16, 17 and 18 with the long whooping right-hander. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. I believe that's someone slowing down on the pit straight, which won't affect Pillars for now as he comes into the final corner. This will be the first lap of qualifying 2, and it will be a 1:45.197. That's obviously not as quick as what he set in the opening qualifying session, as Andenge goes behind, a second behind the 1:46.121, and obviously not as quick as they were in Q1. But there's the opening lap times for the rest of the field to beat. Matteo's out on an out lap. There's a Sloth, unfortunately invalid his opening lap, which is a bit of a shame. We're also getting energetic 6 through in the BMW as he hits the final corner. This is an invalid lap as well. So there's many drivers struggling to get the invalidation, keep the car on track, and unfortunately invalidating their laps. Someone hasn't his LP, and Chaza is just starting his lap, looking to find someone who is on the lap, which is valid, which is what Bannister is doing here in the reserve car, hitting the final corner. As Pease has put himself P2 with a 1:42.301, and Bannister puts himself P4 with a 1:47.899. The drivers to set lap times. And, hopefully we will get them in quite soon. The yellow flag in sector 3, but as for the slow car that was letting block by, dropped us. So championship leader in the JCB, looking for an improvement. There's a bit of a poor qualifying in Q1, down in P6. We'll obviously be looking for better. And he is on a lap going through the long right hander. There's turn 18, or going into turn 19. He's lost the control a little bit there, but he's kept it very well. Going through turn 18 and make sure he doesn't run wide before going to the final corner. And he's picked the apex rather nicely. Make sure he gets a good exit, which he does have a subtle oversteer. Comes across the line, P3 with a 1:45.675. We also have Chaza chucking himself into P5 with a 1:47.129, sloppy, unfortunately, and the invalidation, that's unfortunate. There's an exit of 6, there's another invalidation as well, so they're running at the time to actually set valid laps here. They've 8.5 minutes left in the session already, and hopefully we'll have some more lap times coming in soon. Glock and Alan, and Pot 1 and Pot 2 for Nintendo. They're both out currently on maps, going down the back straight. Alan just about hitting turn 12. They look to have a clean last sector to set a valid lap time in. The new drivers are struggling to find laps at the moment. The yellow flag in sector 2, but that's where I believe drivers letting the drivers by. And Aidan is going through turn 18 now. We're going to turn 19, top of the corner, before hitting the final corner, which is turn 20. Obviously, these tracks don't have corner names, so obviously they based it off the numbers now. And Aylan goes P3 with a 1:45.463. That's a very good lap time in the context of this session. As Pillars still leads the way, and here comes Glock with a 1:45.1966. That is a very good lap time indeed from Glock, and that will put them P2 at the moment, with just behind Pillars. As the drivers are still out on the map. Sloth is invalid again, which is the third or fourth time he's done that now. And the 6 is on a lap this time. Can he finish it off as he's entering turn 18? Looking for a lap time to be completed. And there's some support there from Gav for Pillars, as Energetic 6 is about to come across the line. He sets a 1:46.572 as he stands up with him into Q3. Albeit with 3 drivers yet to set a lap. And Paulie Orange is looking the apex in turn 15 before going through 16, 17, 18. And certainly the most free flowing. If you get the last sector right, it's very free flowing. And if you get it wrong, if you just do a mistake at the start of it, it's a disaster sector to have, as Paulie Orange comes out to the final corner looking for a qualifying lap here, and he comes across the line only P7 with a 1:46.165 for the Pot 2 championship leader, and the obviously second place now in in the entire championship as a whole. He's down in P7 there, which could cause some concern near the end of the session. As the drivers setting laps. Sloth is on an invalid one. He's just actually turned 12. LP's just started one, so we'll go on board with Sloth to see what he can do in the MTV car going to turn 15. And hopefully they'll be able to sort it out with Sloth after a few invalid laps. BMW are having a bit of a tricky time, but as it stands, they will have a driver into Q3 with NZ6. He currently sits in P8. And all shot downs have already just outside by P11, as Total P's puts the fastest lap time on the board with a 1:44.884. And what will Sloth do? It is a 1:47.876. That puts him slowest out of the lot at the moment, and hopefully he'll be able to improve. And Ramsell coming back at CRGTO there, but saying the BMW were having a rough time with Ramsell calling it a blip. Well, they are bottom of the constructors in fairness, and especially amongst the drivers. But hopefully they'll be able to pick up some form in the next couple of weeks just before the season ends. 4.5 minutes left of this session. We are currently, as it stands, losing all shot down. Bannister, I am Sloth and LP. LP is about to complete a lap here, coming out to the turn 20. This is going to be a 1:47.533. That puts the Jaguar car in the top 10, just about. Around about the 10th and a half, which would be very good for LP, getting himself into Q3. As Q3 appearances for him are very few and far between, and he'll be looking for a spot in the top 10. Obviously, with the way that the race has panned out with the conditions, doesn't really matter what time you set in Q2. Obviously in the dry, he would be, but because we're in intermediates, that throws that out the window, and they would all have a fresh set of tyres to start the Grand Prix with, but unfortunately there is going to be rain for the race, so that goes out the window. Also, as many drivers are going to the pit here with 3.5 minutes left of the session, they think they've done enough for a place in the next part of qualifying. Obviously, Matteo and all shot down, they do really put a lap time in now. Bannister is out on the full wet weather conditions. He thinks it's going to be quicker on the wet, which is very interesting to see from the reserve driver in the white livery, and hopefully whatever he can do, if it does the trick for him to get himself into Q3, I don't think he'll be complaining one bit, as he's about to complete his out lap and start on his final flying lap. Well, he could have two stabs at this if he wanted, there's enough time, but a bit of a back end loss there as he starts his lap now. There's a car coming out of the pits. There's a Nintendo car actually of Glock, which is surprising to see. He's got a new set of intermediates. You think he'd be well and dry in this qualifying session, albeit it is wet. And Andenge in the Jaguar with a 1:44.828. That's a very good lap time indeed from Andenge. That puts himself in the top spot as Bannister's gamble on the wet has failed. He's taking a spin of the S's, and that will cost him dearly in this qualifying session. And I'm not too sure if he'll have enough time to get around. His drivers are starting to retire in the pits now. They think they've done enough to get themselves into qualifying 3, the final stage of qualifying. And I don't think it will be enough for Bannister, our reserve driver, in his debut race at Formula 4. And unfortunately, I believe that will be his qualifying done. And as well for Sloth, who's in the pits. So All-Star down and Matteo both out. All-Shot down is just exiting turn 11. Meanwhile, Matteo is now exiting turn 11. And they're both nearby on track. Maybe might help Matteo with a little bit of the slipstream effect in these wet weather conditions. They're both on out laps, as well as Chaz and Energetic 6. They're both also on out laps. They're looking to cement their pace into the next part of qualifying with their lap times. Chaz has just started, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Leo and Matteo will be the first one No, one will be all shot down. Will be the first one onto the drivers that are currently out. And Sloth is trying to get himself out in the lap time. He'll be cutting the S's for sure, as if he wants to get around in time. And all shot down going into the penultimate corner. There'll be to start his final lap with 43 seconds to go, and Denge has improved further with a 1:44.639. That's another good lap time for the Jaguar. As all shot down starts his final lap of qualifying, he really needs an improvement to get himself into Q3. It's not by much, there's not much in it, but he still needs an improvement nonetheless to get himself into Q3. He goes down the hill into the S's, avoids the car on the left hand side of him as he goes through the S's. Make sure he gets this right, and he'll have a bit more confidence in himself. The first sector split, he's up by 5/10. This looks good so far for the BMWs. They want to get 2 drivers into qualifying free, as Energetic 6 just about gets his lap time started there with about a second to go, if that, as all shot down gets himself into turn 11. Make sure he gets this one right, no back end losses on exit, which looks quite good as he flies down the main back straight. Obviously without the RS, but we're in wet weather conditions, so that won't happen. As he qualifies in sector 2, that might be for Denge maybe, who's just slowing down. He's all shut down. He's about to start his final sector here. It's been a solid lap from the BMW, as he is still 5/10 up on that delta from his opening lap, which was a 1:47.770. As Glock goes faster with a 1:43.498. That's over a second faster than Denge. That is the benchmark for qualifying for everyone, and it's just been set by the Nintendo Glock. Is all shot down. Is about to hit turn 19, the penultimate corner, the left-hander, the very tricky left-hander, if that. And before going in to the final corner, turn 20, can he get himself into Q3? Will there be 2 BMWs into Q3? Chaz has not managed to improve, but LP has into P9. That is a brilliant lap, but unfortunately sends LP out as Matteo splits them both, and it looks like that will be that. I don't know if Bannister will improve. No, he dives into the pits, and that will be that for qualifying. And it's a brilliant effort from BMW. George Morgan's jinxed them right there, saying they're in a bit of a rough time. Now they've got 2 drivers into Q3. A brilliant session there from the pair of them. As they will be coming in for their in laps, which are obviously controlled by the game. And yeah, so hopefully we will see them both in the final stages of qualifying. And Gav, yeah, indeed, a brilliant lap time that was by Glock. And Dan, welcome to the stream. We were talking about I don't know who you were talking about there. He was talking about Glock, he was, which is good. Hopefully we will see the qualifying session end, which it does. As all shot down gets himself into P10, which is a brilliant time to see. And here's the classifications for Q2. Glock storming the field with a 1:43.4, 1.1 seconds faster than Denge, and total P's and P3 a couple of tenths behind. Then there was Pillars, Aylin and Droftas running out the top 6. 2.1 seconds covering the top 6. It was very close in Q1. Then there's Poly Orange, Energetic 6, Matteo, all shut down, all clinching their chances and getting themselves into Q3. Losing out in this session was Chaza, LP, Bannister Reserve and Sloth down in 14th. Bit of a disappointment there for MTV. They've only got the one driver into the final part of qualifying, which is Q3, which is about to get underway now. Leave your predictions down in the comments for Paul, because I want to know who you think will be clinching the top spot in qualifying. The final 12 minutes of qualifying has got underway here at Kota, otherwise known as the Americas, and it shall be very interesting to see who will get it. Will it be Total Pace? Will it be Glock? He's shown some brilliant pace so far with his lap times, especially in Q2, wiping the floor by 1.1 seconds. Or will it be someone like Pillars or Aylin, or even Droftas maybe? who hasn't been as competitive in these qualifying sessions, but might put it out of the bag in Q3 as the drivers come out looking for their opening lap times. It'll be Pillars, the first one out, hoping to set the lap time he needs. That will be good enough for Paul. Leaving predictions down in the comments below. And Chazza is unfortunate with his qualifying session there. And Gav has put a prediction in here saying Glock, Pease, Pillars and Andenge finishing fourth. That would be a very good prediction, in fact. If I had to give a top two, it would be Glock and it would be Pillars. As we've seen Pillars countless times before putting out the bag in Q3. And hopefully we'll be able to do it yet again here tonight at the Circuit of the Americas. And hopefully we'll be in for a good qualifying session. As 7 out of 10 are out here on laps. As Pillars will be the first one to cross the line as he's about to enter turn 10, not turn 10, turn 12, which is the hairpin at the end of sector 2, the end of the big long back straight. And the drivers, they're not out. There's Angelic 6 in the BMW, Matteo and Alan, who changed in the C. Obviously, yet again, a pot 3 championship leader, getting himself into Q3. Obviously, if you work it out, with the pots and all that, it obviously doesn't work. That the tier 3 championship leader should just about be getting around that mark. And yeah, so should be interesting to see how he gets on. Obviously you have pots of 5, so technically Matteo shouldn't, if you're looking at it based off the pots, so Matteo has done very well to get into this session. His Pillars starts his lap in Q3 as he's looking for an improvement for Paul as he gets himself into turn 1. Make sure he keeps the apex right, which he does, and gets a good exit on it, which would be good. And he's hoping for an improvement as he goes into the S's. He wasn't in the top 2 in Q2, but Q2 is really irrelevant if you put it on Paul in Q3. As he said, obviously the purple sector time there, but he is the first person out on the when he passed that. He's about to enter turn 11. Yeah, as he exits turn 11 now, going down the long back straight. He is hoping for a lap that is good enough for Paul, albeit in this run or even the next run if needed. Near the end of the qualifying session, there is a slow car in front, I believe. That is Matteo. So Pillars will be wanting the Nintendo car to get right out the way as he's on a qualifying lap as he gets the second sector point and starts his final sector here at the damp Circuit of the Americas. Yellow flag in sector 3. That is for Matteo, who's pulled out the way very smartly indeed there from the Nintendo Pot 3 championship leader. As Pillars looks to round off the lap, going into turn 18. Going into turn 19. Make sure he gets the exit right, doesn't abandon, which he doesn't. There's 2 wheels on the track, runs a lot of the curb, and exits the final corner. What will this lap time be? It'll be a 1:43.2. That is brilliant. 2/10 faster than Glocker from Q1, and that is a brilliant lap. And Denge is about a second off the pace of the 44.2. All shot down with a 46.4 there of the way. Drop Dash puts himself into P2 with a 1:43.817, and Glock doesn't get Paul. He is sat in P2 with a 1:43.470. So his Pillars, as it stands, looking good for Paul. Paul the Orange, P5 with a 1:44.313. Not quite there, as Total Peas is invalid his first lap, so he'll have to go around again. And Matteo and Alan are yet to complete their laps. Hopefully they will be able to the second qualifying session, and we hope that they do get their lap times in, especially Pease, who's looked so good in recent races with a couple of podiums. Arguably could say very unlucky last time with Abu Dhabi, but he's done very well there. There's a brilliant one from Pillars, as it was, as what Gav said, as Seek Alan. What can he do in this in the context of this qualifying session? Can he get himself into the top 2? So yeah, Drop Test, just a reminder, that was a very good lap from our championship leader. Yellow flag in sector 2, the last 4 drivers giving way. As Aiden comes around the final corner, what will this be? Will it be Paul? It won't be, but it's a brilliant lap, a 1:43.531. That is good enough for P3, and that's a very good lap to put himself on the second row of the grid. And it's a Nintendo 2-3 at the moment in qualifying. That's a brilliant lap for Aiden, and he's been one of those drivers that has been very quiet in races, not really in the battles, but he's still there fighting it out. As Total P's is drifting through the right hand there, which is obviously like playing a bit too much of Dirt Rally 2.0 there, but we're definitely playing Formula 1 2020 as he aborts that lap. He won't be happy with his opening run in Q3, as all the drivers are set to come into the pits. And as your name is Energetic 6, he has gone for the option of going in the gap. When everyone else is going to the pits, he is out on a lap, as well as Matteo, who's improved, but is invalid, and has spun and crashed into the wall, has lost a bit of his end clip there as he spins round, and there'll be a trip to the pits for the Nintendo Pot 3 Championship leader, NJ6, who's obviously in Q3 for, I believe, the first time this season. He did join midway through the season in the BMW car. One of 2 BMW representatives in Q3. Hopefully we will get a nice lap in here during the gap. Maybe he's running with intermediate tyres to use, so he has been forced to go in the gap. As in fairness, I'm not too sure what the ruling is with the wet tyres situation in qualifying. I know you get, I believe it's 3 sets each, but like with the set of softs, you get an extra set if you get Q3. I'm not too sure on that one, as he will be starting his lap. As Droftas is also going for the gap. He's quickly out, changed tyres, and back out you go for the championship leader, as he's also out on the out lap, as well as Total P's. And then Energetic 6 is in fact put in a wall, which is a big shame at the at turn 16-17. As Matteo overtakes him for the race back to the pits. We should be both fine into the pits now. Unless, well, NG6 didn't pick up damage on that front wing, I don't believe. So he is fine to go. There's a bit of a blip running wide as he starts his qualifying lap. Yes, he does. A bit of a delay there with the out lap saying that he did, but he is on a lap as he heads into turn 1. So obviously a couple of other drivers out on out laps as well, including his teammate all shot down, who's currently sat in P8. Total P's obviously invalid both runs. And dropped that, so Championship leader is sat in 4th at the moment. Just around about nearly half a second off Paul, but so it's well over half a second off Paul. It's nearly 5.5 tenths, that is. As MJ6 completes his first sector of this lap, and he's invalid there at the exit of turn 7 chicane. And oh, that'll be turn 8 and 9 chicane. My apologies. And that'll be a big blow for the BMW. And that looks like him. Well, there's still plenty of time for him to recharge his batteries and go again. But that would be bitterly disappointing if he didn't get that correct on this first run, as he'll have to go again. Total P's has started on his lap. Let's see what he can do in the Jaguar on board with him heading into turn 1. There's his spin there, and that is all shot down in the BMW going for a spin. And there's his teammate there, in fact behind him, as all shot down can't get the car going in a straight line. We roll back with P's, who's out on a lap. He's looking to get a lap time in after his first couple of laps. One's either not good enough or invalid. The first sector telling us is purple, but I'm not sure about that one. As the remainder of the grid come out, well, the majority of the grid come out. Aiden's leaving it very late. As Droftas is also on a lap, so you have to be wary of him as well. He is going down the back straight going into turn 12, but is invalid. So there goes his chance. Total P's will be looking for an improvement, because he obviously on the lap time yet. He'd be looking good. No, we wouldn't be looking good for a P9 finish at the moment, because I don't think he'd be very happy with it one bit, as he is completing the middle sector. And hopefully he gets himself up amongst the big boys in the top 3. Can he do it is the important question. as he hits turn 15 before going into 16, 17, 18, a long triple right-hander. Hoping to get this right and make sure he doesn't invalid. It looks good for now as he enters turn 19, which he hits. Paul coming out of exit, going into the final corner, turn 20. What will this lap time be for Total P's in the Jaguar? As he comes across the line, it is Paul, a 1:42.820. That is a brilliant lap time from the Jaguar, and that will tell the rest of the field you've got a lap time to beat. There's Pillars who might have seen that from behind actually, going into turn 1 as he starts his lap time. Glock is also behind him in a lap time. Elan's come out, he might be a bit close, and depending if he can get out in time. Droftas is a 10th down after his first lap being invalid, and then starts on his lap. Paulie Orange will be the last one, well, Paulie Orange will be the penultimate one to come across this checkered line to start his lap. And it is about who will be the first one to set their lap times. Will it be on the 6 maybe? But he's slowed down. That's a big shame, that is. He's letting Elan through. He's on the first. I was also down, my apologies. There's no one slowing down. He's on for a personal best. You know what we're used to it. As he lets Elan by, who does get to the line just in time. I believe the first person to come across the line will be Pease, as he is down on that fast lap. Pillars is up, but it's not by much as they enter turn 15. And hopefully the Jaguar can convert this into a pole position, which would be brilliant to see. And thank you, Gav, for the message of support in the chat. Droftas is going to be no higher than P3 as Pease has ran wide. That could cost him. As here comes Pillars. Can he find the 10th he needs for pole? Pease has crossed the line. That's his qualifying done. What will Pillars do? He has got pole with a 1:42.739. That is yet another brilliant lap time. But it's beaten by Glock. A 1:42.556. The lap times are tumbling here in USA, and Glock has somehow pinched pole from Pillars, who did a bit pinch pole from Total P's. Brilliant to see. Elan's invalid, so he's not going to start no higher than 5th. And Denge didn't quite get in. He did get an improvement in, but it wasn't enough to get himself in the mix. Paulie Orange, what can he do? I think he's a bit far behind to compete with the top guys. Here he comes. Still P7, but an improvement nonetheless. Waiting for the two BMWs as Energetic 6 has ran wide, unfortunately, at the penultimate corner, but the lap time will still count, which is a bit weird. Comes across the line to set a 1:44.9, and it's P8 for the BMW. What can Allshot down to? He's a couple of tenths up as well, but I don't know if it'll be enough for him to move up positions. I'm not too sure. As he hits the final corner now, he'll be the last one to set a lap time. What will this time be? A 1:45.8, I believe it is. That'll be P10 for the BMW driver. But what a lap time from the top three, all getting themselves into the 42s. And this Glock in the Nintendo takes pole. There's a Swans Hank swooped in for Sloth. He was unfortunately out in Q2. He started down in P14. Nice to see the Swansea City logo getting involved there. And yep, Glock. And as you said, Gaz, he did predict Glock, Peas and Pillars in the top three. And well, he predicted the top four, but he's one position out. He needed Peas and Pillars to swap, but it's Glock who's got pole by just over a tenth and a half to P for Pillars. Peas P3, Droftas P4, Elan P5, and Denge P6, Paulie Orange P7, and Jetty 6 is in P8, Matteo P9, and Allshot down, rounding out the top 10. Just need a quick breather from what an enthralling qualifying session that was. A brilliant qualifying session that saw Glock get himself on pole yet again, but there's no time for the full wet weather conditions, and hopefully he'll all be able to survive the treacherous downfall we have had here in Austin, Texas at the Circuit of the Americas, as we wait for the drivers to ready up for the start of the Grand Prix. Just going to take a quick breather before we get the formation lap underway, and hoping we have an enthralling battle. As LPE is the first to ready up, which has triggered the countdown clock. I don't know if admins will be happy about that one, but there they are. And hopefully we'll be in for a very good race. And there's a couple of seconds left until the formation lap will get underway. And the formation lap is now underway. There's no faults with the online lobby here at Codemasters. Drop your predictions down in the comment sections below. Who do you think will win this American Grand Prix in the full wet weather conditions? And I believe they'll be on the full wet weather tyres, and Droftas has been taken out on his formation lap, and he'll be stuck on the grid as the other drivers warm up their brakes and tyres for the formation lap. And Ramsell telling his teammate Energetic 6 to stay on the track. That must have been for a good tip for the race. And Ramsell has called for Blaze to win. That would be one phenomenal drive from P15 to the race win, as the drivers make their way round on the formation lap block, just exiting turn 11 before going on the long back straight. I don't think the RS will be in use in this Grand Prix unless things dry up rather quickly. And hopefully we will be able to have a brilliant race in our hands, albeit that the conditions would want to say otherwise. And Glock just warming his tyres up, a lot of weaving. Arguably the only time we're allowed to weave in a Formula 1 game is on the formation lap. So hopefully they'll be able to muster some good points tonight when Team Nintendo change livery from what the normal is. You can see Aylan rocking the livery there. And Glock with a slightly different one compared to his teammates. With the colour coding shows that he's a member of Team Nintendo. And he came in for young Stinson, who started the season brilliantly in fairness to him before he left for other commitments. Very big shame to see him leave, as he's a very quick driver, but Glock has come in and he's been brilliant. Unfortunately, a couple of races where he's missed out on safety cars, which is well, unfortunate for him, but there's a moment to laugh for him, which is because we don't get the opportunity to on the track with his pace. As the drivers line up now, it will be Paul Watson, the last one to get himself on the grid, with 20th and final man. They picked a 1-stop or a 2-stop at AWS. Obviously, run the strategies of Formula 1. Many people love them, many people hate them, and we're about to get ready for the 5 red lights. Waiting for one more. Here we go. And the lights are coming on now. We have 5 of them. And it's lights out. And we're underway here at the Circuit of the Americas. And it looks like the Glock has got away well. Pillars has also got away well. As the midfield battle continues. A bit of contact there, I saw back in the midfield. But Pease has jumped Pillars. And into P2. There's a bit of action going on down behind. Blaze has lost a few positions there. Down at the P17. There's a bit of contact there. That is, I believe, that is LPE who's slowed down there. Near the back, Chaz has stopped as after a spin at turn 1, at turn 2. Well, the rest of the field are looking quite normal to me. Not much going on, everyone just following each other. Yeah, there's yellow flag for Chazza. The Glock has had a really good start, and we expect him to pull away yet again like we've normally seen so far this season. As he's exited turn 11 for the first time. Up to 28, there's a moment there with I can't believe that was Ayla and then Droftas. But they're moving quite closely to each other. Bloomsdale overtaking Chewy for P14. This has been a very good start for Sloth, apparently, who's gone from 14th to 8th. That's a very good start indeed. As Droftas does a look at Andenge going into turn 12. Still just on the side where Andenge gets the move done. You can't really see much in these wet weather conditions, so I do apologise if I miss things out. The Chewy and Blue Star still going after it. And, well, they've all tucked in within each other. Now, Blaze is not in the session, so there goes Ramsel's prediction of a Blaze win. And, Glock has started this race comfortably, and he leads by 7/10 of a second. Obviously, DRS not a factor in these full wet conditions. Is he going to complete the first lap in the lead? And he'll be hoping that safety cars won't happen in this race as he starts lap 2. And obviously a bit of a glitch, I believe, with the time-ins. Glock's down in 6th, but he's in the lead of the Grand Prix. This is what we normally get to see in Codemasters F1 games, with drivers being all over the shop with the positions, but trust me, they're not down in these positions. If so, we'd have a good race in our hands. So they say Glock's down in P11, but he's in the lead. Hopefully that will fix himself now. And hopefully the rest of the drivers swap themselves into position. That'll be very nice indeed. And, Glock goes down into turn 11. Obviously the first of the hairpins, many overtaking positions to be made. Yeah, meanwhile, back down in the midfield, there's been a little bit of a gap here now. Foreman behind, well, the train behind ice creams, he's done really well to get himself into P11. And, this goes actually all the way down, we are going to say to the back if you wanted to, but I won't. I'd say let's call it Chewy. Let's say that's where that train ends up as. There's Alfie to head with the eye, as Kaza gets past Paul Watson on the other moment. There was a bit of a mistake there. The exit of turn 11, and we're still waiting for the battles to commence. Here, everyone's kind of spread out a little bit here. There's Blaze, who's obviously a ghost, going to get past the next, but he will just be tumbling down into P20. Nino Mateo has got past Streams there in the last sector. It's a very nice move wherever he got that done. Overtaking the last sector will be very tricky, unless obviously he's having a lunge on the inside. All settle down a little bit. There's not many scraps going on, except if you are Andenge and Aylan, P4 and P5 at the moment. Glock the second pass lap to Grand Prix. He leads by a second. So they start lap 3 out of the 28 at the Circuit of the Americas. Andenge is just looking to get right in behind Aylan, but he can't at the moment. Still a second separates him with Dropdance, a World Championship leader. Who are behind in the JCB. Paulie Orange, who's second in the standings, obviously. He's just behind there in P7. He was a little bit off the pace in qualifying. I don't know if you'd mind me saying that. But he was a little bit off the pace compared to the top 6. And there's a move down in front of P17 between the two MTV cars. As X has let Chazza go by. And while it's all going on. And yeah, Gav is put that really well. He put this with horrible conditions, yeah. But they've all done really well to avoid any dramas. He's still got 20, albeit 19 of the Blaze Ghost in this Grand Prix. Paul Watson getting himself past that Ghost. There's not much going on unless you go in the battle of P14 now, that is. Well, P13. The reserve driver Bannister, who's done well. He's up to P13 and looking for some points for the reserve team. Obviously the main scrap is for P4 at the moment. We are looking at Aylan and Andenge and Droftas. Well, Droftas is falling a bit behind, so we can just leave it to Aylan and Andenge. Nintendo against the Jaguar as they look to close up. As Glock sets yet another fastest lap of the race. His lead extends to 1.5 seconds. That is a brilliant start from the Nintendo car as they start lap 4 of this USA Grand Prix. He's slowly getting closer, but giving a lot of time in the straights, and Paulie Orange has caught up to his teammate Droftas, the championship leader. So hopefully Paulie Orange can get the move done for the sake of his championship. There's not much else going on regarding side-by-side action. Obviously you can see why that's not happening due to the horrendous conditions we have here at Austin, Texas, my apologies, and hopefully we'll be able to have some racing soon. They're all pretty spread out at the moment. It's interesting to see. The Glock 1.6 seconds for the P's, using 1.3 seconds for those pillars. Blaze and Paul Watson are scrapping again, because obviously this close, so really want to watch that. There's someone who is looking close, is Blue Star, with Banks there in front of him, the reserve against the JCB. Will the Jaguar car, not the Jaguar car, the JCB car, my apologies. Go for the move, going in the back straight maybe. He's looking very close. But he'll go for the outside. This is going to be daring in these conditions. Which doesn't stick. There's a little bit of a love tap by Chewy there. And hopefully we'll sort out this battle as Banks there runs wide. And Blue Star gets the move done. Up in the P13 going to turn 15. It's not done yet, as the reserve drivers did extremely well to hold the inside line. Can he hold it though for the triple left-hander, the triple right-hander? No, he's still going side by side. This is what we like to see. Broomstar's picked up a penalty for track limit, and Banks there holds on to positions as LP snuck past Chewy in that instant there, which will be good news if you are a fan of Jaguar. Spread out at the front. You may as well look down at the battle of the midfield. LP just behind these two. You see side by side, brilliant side by side action there between these two. We'll be hoping to end this battle P13 quite quickly, because Streams has pulled away quite well in P12. Meanwhile, we might have had a bit of a spin there from Droftas. Well, Champions League is driving slowly there, and he's lost the position to Paul the Orange, as well as maybe he must have had a little bit of a half spin and exit, which obviously would have alarmed us for the yellow flags. And he's down now into P7 and lost a position to his teammate and championship rival, which will be crucial in the context of the championship. He's still comfortably in front of I Am Sloth, who is getting quite close. There, I think 6. We'll move back down to the battle for P14. It's all kind of separate between Boomstar and Banks there. LP looking for the overtake. Obviously, race we end now. Boomstar would be down the back somewhere. And it's looking quite close. We can't really see much due to the conditions. Shut down, keeping himself in P10. So good to talk to Jaguar is. P9 and P10. If this was to stick, as ice streams of the Jaguar, the JCB picks up another penalty in it. LP looks to go and move down on Bloomstar, which he has. And it's a very nice move from the Jaguar. He's tackling a couple of positions here in these opening few laps. He's looking to get past the reserve driver now, and Droftas is coming into the pits. And he did lose his front winner into turn 9, which will be a big shame for Championship League. They will send him down the field as Andames picks up a 3-second time penalty, exceeding track limits. As this will leave Droftas, and Glock as well, a race leader, also picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that will leave Droftas down in P18. That's not good at all. So a race leader picking up a 3-second time penalty, which is very weird early on in these Grand Prix, in the early stages. He leads by 1.3 seconds over the Jaguar and Salt Peas. Sloth and Matteo pick up penalties. The penalties are racking up quickly here in court there. The man drivers picking up penalties, but it's understandable with these conditions. You can easily cut a corner or run wide. You'll be able to pick up a 1 in easily there from Codemasters, saying that you've exceeded your track limit, and there's a warning for you. Still waiting for some possible battles. LP looking to get past Banks there as the reserve tonight. LP doing a good job. He's doing a really good qualifying session. Had a bit of a poor start. I think he's tapped or something in turn 1 as Chewy again has a look down the inside of Bloomstar going into turn 12. And Chewy gets the move done on the JCB car that's looking to be falling backwards a little bit. There's a yellow flag in sector 2, but I'm not sure where that is for, as LP runs very wide. Turn 15. People looking for the move up into P12. And see Streams has lost a little bit of time here. down, down in P11. Yeah. He'll be looking to pick up the pace a little bit. Well, N6 is behind I Am Sloth. These are the brilliant start to this Grand Prix from 14th to 7th. And he'll be looking for further points for MTV. He'll like 3rd. No, they're like 4th in the Constructors' Championship. My apologies. Sloth runs a little bit wide there. He's got that one wrong. And I Am Sloth has spun at the S's. He won't lose much front wing because he's been very fortunate. He's stopped the car and he's rejoined down in P10. Those streams will have a good run with him, yeah. We'll get close to him. As Droftas picks up a 3-second time penalty. So a championship leader today goes from bad to worse down in P8B. I know he's picked up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. As well, total P's has closed the gap a little bit. It's down to 1.1 seconds. I don't know if Glock is fancying those wet tyres. Obviously, he stormed the field in qualifying with the Inters, and then still hasn't got past Aiden yet, and he's still the penalty is the Jaguar. There's a bit of a gap buffered between Paulie Orange and N6. That will relieve a lot of pressure as Droftas will take next. Down the back straight after the P17 goes over championship leader. And there's a bit of a scrap here. Woman behind LP who's just ran wide. Yeah, he'll be fine. The scrap technically starts where I Am Sloth is, which obviously spun in the previous lap. And Ramsell showing the support for BMW. Tell them to keep it up. Well, they're doing a really good job. P7 and 8. If they can hold that, that would be phenomenal. Certainly a brilliant day for them. And the start there at these lots about to come round to start lap 8 out to 28. Still all close. And Streams runs a little bit wide here. They could win opportunity. French there, our reserve. In the reserve Formula 4 car, obviously all white. As Droftas overtakes his team with Bloomstar for P16. Vanish there goes down the inside of Streams going into turn 1. Make sure these two don't collide, as they don't. And there might be an option to might open the door. The strings stay as they do. As I say that, Streams has ran wide and he's lost a couple of positions. Yeah, there's a bit of a disappointment that is. And he's down after a brilliant start after being knocked out in Q1. He's up in the P10, P11, so my apologies. And he's back down to P17, which will be a big blow for him. Meanwhile, and Denji and Elam are getting close again, but nothing much to talk about there as the midfield train goes into turn 11. This is a brilliant opportunity for LP if he fancies a move. He didn't want to get the exit there. Maybe the wheel spin might have affected that. You know, Droftas is overtaking his drivers for fun now. He's back up with the P14. Will Chaz go for a look down the inside? No, he will not. As the championship leader slowly getting up the field. He's up in the P14 now. And LP's ran a little bit wide there again. Which will dent the confidence of the Jaguar. The yellow flags again. He's like the 2 at turn 9. But we can't see what's going on there. As Chibi runs a bit wide on entry. Will Droftas get this move? Really close. Will Droftas will not hook it around the outside. He will look for the position to get very close there going into turn 19. So he has to leave a little bit of a gap just in case. Will he go for it down the inside of turn 20? I don't think he will. Meanwhile, up in front, they're all ganging up, but I have Sloth and LP and Vanstead both going for it. This is going to be a free wide moment. No, not quite a free wide moment. Going into turn 1 as I flip the wrong position. And Sloth manages to hold on. And Droftas did survive from Chewy there as he looks at this battle unfold in front of him. LP will be the next in line for our championship leader. As it's Sloth who's round again, and he's collected LP there, which is unfortunate for the Jaguar. Droftas is up into P11, and that's twice now in a matter of laps. The Sloth has had a bit of an incident with the S's, and that will send him well down the field with damage, I believe, on LP as well, which will be bitterly disappointing for him. And hopefully Droftas can get himself into the top 10 yet. with an overtake of the reserve driver. So he goes down into turn 12, he opts for the outside line with the reserve car going on the inside. He said he would get this move done. Or will he? With the reserve driver defending really well, but Droftat is even better to go around the outside at turn 12. There's the course there, but not much in it. Up in front, not much going on up in front. It's all down the midfield where all the battlings come on, and with the collision with Sloth and LP. LP couldn't really do much about that. With Sloth, well, just slowly going around into a half spin. And it's just LP that was very unfortunate to collect with it. And Gaz is saying that Droftat showed his great recovery skills, which he has done. Our championship leader, he's obviously goes down to P18, now he's back with a P10. No matter a few laps as he starts lap 10 out of 28. Meanwhile, up in front, and Denge has got very close to Aylan here as I believe X is with a couple of positions, but he's obviously in 2 cars in the pits, changing tyres or front wings. As Andenge looks for a move on Aylan, going into turn 12. Chewy picks up a free second time out the corner cut in, and Andenge couldn't quite get the move done there, which is a bit of a shame. And Droftat has lost the position out here. Well, has he? He'll be close, but the reserve driver is extremely well to back with our championship leader here. And he's pulled away there, which is a bit of a concern for our championship leader. And Chewy will be looking to get a move done on the JCB. So he goes down into turn 12 on this back straight. We have a first of the leaders pit then, and that is Infamous Pillars in the MTV car. He decided to get off that set of hard tyres, as well as and then Jan Paulie Orange looking for the potential undercut maybe of these 3 lads. And well, I tell a lie. Intermediates on Infamous Pillars, intermediates on Paulie Orange, and Denge has been unfortunate there because they don't know who's in what team the Codemasters. Obviously, they just get selected on random, and Denge is behind Pillars there, and he's lost out big time there. As Droftat overtakes Denge there, and drivers are coming in. It's time for intermediates, I believe, in this American Grand Prix. Denge at 6 comes into the pits, as well as Matteo. All shot down as well, and here's Droftat. And Brandy's there, stays out. He thinks the wet weather tyres can last out for a couple more laps maybe. The top is the top 3 still yet to pit, or the top 2 starting there, that they were there, but Aylan is in the vulnerable position of being jumped by Infamous Pillars. Yellow flag the second to 1, but I'm not sure what that is for. Scrap break going on here between Chewy and Bannister. The Nintendo against the reserve cars, so there's a lot of coverage tonight. It's been involved in the majority of the battles as Chadza picks up a 3 second time penalty for corner cut in. And, hopefully the top guys come into the pits quite soon, as Brock has extended his lead to 2.3 seconds. A lot of overtakes coming soon here, with many drivers jumbled up now. Should be interesting to see what happens as Glock does pit. There's not going to be an overtake here, so does Pease. So there's going to be a pit stop battle here with Nintendo and Jaguar. Glock is out in the car and will be in the lead. And Sloth picks up another 3 second time boundary for corner cut in, and Aylan pits as well. So what will happen with will the undercut work for Infamous Pillars? Where will he come? He will come out in P2. That is very good for the MTV car, who has put himself out in P2. He's jumped total P's there. And in fact, Paulie Orange has had a bit of a really good jump there. He's up into P4 in front of Van Denge, who has jumped Aylan. So Aylan has lost a couple of positions out there in the pit stops, and Paulie Orange is up to P4 and all that, which will be very good for the JCB driver. And I keep mixing up Jaguar and JCB for some reason, and I do apologise for that. This is it's one of those days where you mix things up, as X picks up a 3 second time boundary for corner cut in. As the last two of our wet runners pit, intermediates. And yet again, just showing how good the BMW boys are doing. P7 and P9. Ramsell will be very happy with his team. Gav was suggesting there is time for Inters. The Slot sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And Pillars is goes the gap to Glock by 1.2 seconds. He might have some overtakes for the lead coming up soon. Paul Watson's left, but there's no rejoin the lobby. He's down in P20. A bit of a poor race going on. But his standards has dropped. That's because of a second 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. That won't do him any good at all in this race, as he's down in P10. Yeah, we're going to start lap 13 of 28. We're really reaching the halfway point of this Grand Prix. But yeah, change of tyres from the full wet weather to the intermediates as Pillars sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix. Obviously, Rock's tyres may still be warming up. It's Pillars, the man, setting the fastest lap so far. There's a Paul Watson ghost there. As Anden sets the newly fastest lap of the Grand Prix. LP can have a time penalty for multiple corner cutting warnings. Unfortunately, I've lost my delta gap, so we can't really see what's going on right now. It's obviously not with my control. I'll see if I can change it to the... No, the leader won't either. So we're in a bit of a pickle here. As Pease puts up a penalty, that'll be crucial for the front runners near the end. So it's advantage Pillars right now. We obviously haven't picked up a penalty in this Grand Prix. Well, we do see some better times emerging, which is good to see for the commentators like myself, as Drop-Das is all over the back of All Shot Down, going down into turn number 1, and it looks like HPCB will get this move done, and up into P9. All Shot Down will try and fight back for it, but he can't get past the JCB, our championship leaders before the race. I don't know what would affect the championship as it stands right now, with his team with Paulie Orange in P4, but Drop-Das certainly back up into P9. Still waiting for the delta times for these lot to come in. And meanwhile, Chewy is looking to get past Streams. The FPS is also done some a penalty for multiple warnings. Well, all the deltas recovered from the lower half, but not for the top 6. And that's what I really want to see. The delta times for is the top 6. As Pease runs wide again, there might be a warning that would have been. Yeah, Ramsell showing the support for All Shot Down. He's done a good job in P10. Yellow flags in sector 3. Who will that be for? That will be someone like Paulie Orange or Ben. We're not too sure on that one, but we've got our deltas back, so I can see what's going on. And pull off leads by 2.3 seconds from Pillars, who hasn't picked up a penalty, but the two cars around him have. And as it stands, if there is a trend now, Pillars win with a couple of tenths to spare. And what are your predictions for the Grand Prix? Nice to see you all in the chat, commenting your things, and with your conversations with each other, which is brilliant to see. No bad things in that chat, please. So I don't want to be shouted at by George Morgan at the end of this race. His Slot overtakes Benny Stair for P15. The wrong time to pit for the reserve car driver, who has shown some good pace earlier on in this Grand Prix. He's lost some time there, and Slot, who's obviously had a couple of incidents with a couple of spins, he's doing a good job of recovering to P15. He's hoping to get himself up to that. Zaylan has obviously lost a couple of positions out in the pit stop window to both Paulie Orange and Andenge. We get past Andenge on penalties, but yeah, it's just unfortunate for him, as Glock is trying to break the 3 seconds, like what Gav is also saying in the chat. He's very good, Gav, with his information this week, and yeah, the gap is 2.18 seconds. He's looking to extend it. He's trying to put some purple lap times in, which he is doing. And I don't think Pillars can keep up with him. And he's got total peace for company now. I've got a warning on my TV that I'm about to turn off, so I've got about 5 minutes to do that. As I hammer up my remote, and I've switched that off, so my TV won't be turning off during commentary, which would be, well, it'd be a hilarious sight really, if someone's TV was turned off during in the middle of a commentary race, which would be Well, it would be quite funny, but hopefully we don't see that tonight in Formula 4, as we do have some scraps in our hands, especially the P2, the infamous pillars in the MTV car, and Total P's in the Jaguar. We're heading into turn number 11, block 2.9 seconds in front. Looking to extend that 3-second window to get himself out of that penalty range. Meanwhile, Sloth has closed down a little bit on Chewy, we're not going to be getting a move done. P's still a little behind from the MTV car. Still not much going on. The cars behind ice creams, which is Chewy and Sloth, but they're not close enough to be within racing battle. Into the yet, and Glock picks up another 3-second time penalty. He's pushing too hard in the lap times he really wants to extend from the first one. He's picked up another one now, so he's got 6 seconds worth of penalties in the race as the Nintendo car. And hopefully we'll be able to pull out a gap which will be good enough for him to win the race. He's at lap 16 with the 28. As X picks up another penalty for corner cut in. That is Blaze's Ghost, who obviously disconnected during qualifying his pillars. Picks up a 3-second time penalty for that corner cut in turn 1. That could be costly at the end of the race, because if stand, Glock would win. Around about 2 tenths, to be precise right now. And this could let Glock in for the opening year. With a slow S section for pillars. And it could let the Jaguar car go for a move, maybe. Going into sector 2 and beyond. They're still scrapping around down the midfield, Chewy and Sloth, but they're a bit more further apart. They're trying to adhere to the 2-metre social distance rule, which is currently enforced in the UK, and it has been for nearly a year now. Back to the racing, and Pease has got a good run here. Could he go for a move on the inside? Both was very low in the RS, so hopefully they will be able to sort that issue out. Gav is joining in, saying that the scrap, the battle, scrap, whatever you call it, between P's and pillars is fantastic, and it is, especially in these conditions. If it was dries, it would be good to watch, but in these conditions, it'd be even better, which is good to see. Hopefully, these two will be able to scrap right until the end of lap 28, out of 28 in this Grand Prix. And Ramsdale is joining in with the 2-metre rule, saying they are all even 2 metres. Unless your name's Total P's. Or, arguably say Chewy's right behind ice cream right now. But there's not much else going on the track, which is a shame. We all expect a good race. And hopefully we'll get one near the end of this Grand Prix. Or something like a safety car or something would spice up this Grand Prix, if I'm being honest. Would help us massively. We have a flat in here, but nothing to see. And no offence to Glock, but something like a safety car now would really cause some excitement in this Grand Prix. We're through that lap. He's looking a bit struggling here. He's lost a lot of time to pillars. He's lost even more time to Glock. The gap's down to 4.4 seconds. Glock has been really pushing since he picked up that second time penalty, and it's worked for him a little bit. He wants to extend that lead even more, which will be very good for him, very handy for him. Meanwhile, there's not much else going on. Sloth is overtaking Chewy, there's a mistake in there somewhere. He is all over the back of ice streams in the JCB MTV battle. And hopefully Sloth can get the move done. And Sloth will get about that as he starts lap 17. He looks to go for a move on the inside of turn 1, but he can't quite get close enough to the JCB. The Sloth picks up another 3-second time penalty. He is definitely ranking up those penalties now. He must be very close to having a disqualification. The land of the penalties. Yeah, Gav, totally agree with them. Last couple of rounds he's bottled it due to safety cars, and now he's set a fast lap at the Grand Prix, and the lead is around about 5 seconds, well, just 5th under 5 seconds there. And this has truly been a brilliant display from Glock. who has controlled this race, albeit with a couple of penalties. There's still a long time left. Obviously, plenty of time for a safety car. So if anyone wants to cause one, then be my guest, because I'll be enthralled with the safety car again at this Grand Prix. The Sloth looks to get the Streams as they head into turn number 12. Streams goes defensive, but I think he'll be fine to cover off the MTV behind him. There you look. So again, a valuable points P15, not like real life Formula 1 with a point with the top 10 get rewarded. The entire field get rewarded if they finish the line, if they finish the race. And Sloth will be looking to get this move done rather quickly. Big gap to Blue Start, he's recovered well. Poor start at P12. Sloth will be looking to get this move done. He's right in the back of him, runs wide a little bit more there. It will hurt them a little bit. And there's not much else going on there, isn't there? There's a bit of a train forming now. All the way down to Bannister in P16. He's fallen off that train a little bit. Can Sloth get the move done? As they go down into turn 1. Yeah, Ramsell, I agree with Ramsell's comment there. Stream's doing a good job for pot 4, which he is indeed. Meanwhile, all shot down is quickly pulled back up on the tail, which has been quite a race for both the BMW drivers that are still left. The P7 and P10, this is a brilliant result, I think, stand. And I believe I've just missed an overtake. I think Streams has just been jumped by Sloth and Chewy while I was talking about the BMW boys. It was going to happen soon, and it has happened now. And Sloth is up to P15, Chewy up in the P14, Streams down at the P15, and with Bannister behind him. The one running the Scottish flag in the reserve car. Well, Pease is caught up quickly to the back of the Infamous Pillars. We will go for that battle quite soon as they head into turn 12 through this battle P15. Meanwhile, up into P3, this is again very close between the top guys. Peas and Pillars. Peas only got a penalty. He will stay behind Pillars for the remainder of the race. He's still got P2, but I think he wants more than that. He wants to get himself into the battle between him and Glock and make sure he doesn't pick up any penalties. He'd be in a position to win this Grand Prix. I think now he'd still be in a position to win this Grand Prix, even with the penalties going his way. So as things stands, it would be Total Peas to pick up yet another. Yeah, I believe his first win of the second win of the season. I believe Total Peas. If things were to end now, there's still obviously a long time left in this Grand Prix. He's very close to Pillars, only around about 6/10. And Bannister has got the move back on Streams going down into turn 1, but they're going side by side. The Streams holds out for now, and hopefully they'll be able to get it out. But Sloth is retired. And we have a VSC deploy. The virtual safety guys lost it at the second exit, I believe. That's the third turn. No, it's not the second one. It's the fourth one. So we'll go on board that and tell you what's going on. There's a couple of drivers going to the pits. So I believe you must have lost it. Yeah. He went into the wall. And we do have a couple of drivers in the pits actually going for a new set of intermediates. And the VSC. Chewy's got a drive for penalty for speeding under the safety car, VSC, and Pease for the penalty, so that ruins his chance of winning the race. But Paulie Orange is pitted under this VSC for a fresh set of intermediate tyres, as well as Alan. They obviously had the buffer in front of Energetic 6, and will be able to make pit stop come out in front. So we do apologise for getting my voice starting to go. It's one of the rare things for me being on the comms. I normally have someone calling the action with me doing the feedback bit at the side of what CRTGO does, but so I do apologise for that. I'll try my best to keep it in the entire race. Meanwhile, Pease is closing in, definitely closing in. I don't know if he'd get the move done. Obviously, he'd have to Pease would have to overtake Pillars to get this move done for the position at the end of the Grand Prix. Xerxes runs wide, just lets him by. Very good work from the man down in P17. hoping to just finish the race now. Hammer limitation of the MTV car. So we head for the final corner to start lap 21 of the 28. This race has flown by if you're having fun. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the Formula 4 channel for more action. There's a couple of cars coming to the pits here. X streams are all pitted. All for a new segment in English. Maybe these tyres are starting to wear off near the end of this Grand Prix, which will be fascinating to see. Like I said, make sure you leave subscribe and a like on this video, on the stream rather. If you enjoy the Formula 4 content and want to see more, we'll be back next week at Monza. Temple of speed, fun, well, that could be the most funniest track to have a Grand Prix race on, famous corners. But now we turn attention to America. This is the race we're at now. I'm not sure where. No, there it is. There's Xerxes running wide. I'm going for the wall, I believe. And we're all up in front. The other things get closer between pillars and pillars. Going into turn 12. For sure, but I think Pillars is just about to hold out here. Going into turn 12. Ramsel's in disbelief that he's missing Monza. It's going to be a brilliant race. I hope George Monza's back for it, because I'm sure he'd be wanting to be alongside me in the commentary box to witness that one. And well, I just hope that we will have a good finale here, which will set ourselves up nicely for Monza, as Sloth is obviously retired in this Grand Prix. He has now left the session. His leaders start lap 22. Meanwhile, down in P9, there's a little scrap going on. Matteo all shot down, and Chaza quite close by. And Matteo has a bit of a mistake there, but all shot down to a penalty. That could be crucial near the end of this Grand Prix. As Pease has closed down a little bit as well. Hopefully we'll be able to get the move done as they go down the back straight. And Ramsell again showing his support to BMW cars. He spotted the front of all shot down. Lost a little bit of time there, unfortunately. Meanwhile, up in front in the battle for P2. Have a battle, thankfully. First lead, if you want to call it like that. It's only just 6 because of a penalty. He is down in P7, which is losing a couple of positions actually. Well, losing one position if that would to affect his race. But I'm telling how many penalties dropped on the start. So this is going to be intriguing. He might need to save some ERS a little bit and stay within the couple of points that he's got now. If he wants to get the move done going into this turn 12, Pillars runs a little bit wide, but won't affect him. Pillars survives another lap in P2. We're getting really close here. Going in the last sector, P's used the back end momentarily, yeah, being effect here at quarter. Looking for a swing and exit. Didn't quite get it. His block's pulled away a little bit, which will be brilliant for him. As they were to come round to start, well, Glock is about to start lap 23, out to 28. And these two are just battling away. Still no progression on the scrap for P9. Team Matteo all short down on Chazza as we start lap 24 to 28. With the two cars in P2 and P3. The MTV car against the Pillars and the Jaguar car. All total P's. Into turn 1. There's still not much in it, but Pillars is doing a phenomenal job as it is to hold out. As Paul the Orange has parked up the Grand Prix, and we have an overtake for... Oh no, it's just Chewy running wide. He lost a couple of positions unfortunately, which went to him good. And he's lost down a couple of positions, which gives promotion to others. And the scrap for P9 is calmed down, but the scrap for P3 is definitely not calmed down, as Pease is trying to get as close as he can to infamous Pillars at the exit of turn 11. See if he can do that. He's saved up a little bit of ERS, like I said. Far more than what Pillars has got. And Gav is raving about someone's throttle control. I'm not too sure who he's on about. Could be Pease, could be Pillars. could even be Glock out in front. He was 6.5 seconds in front. He's truly commanded this race ever since the VSC's come in. And Xerxes picks up a couple of more penalties, which won't do him any good. Total P's is getting very close, but he's getting close to the wrong areas where he doesn't need to be close. There's the opportunity for both drivers to harvest on the ERS, but he'll be close, going on the back straight to P's if he wants to win. Well, not win this Grand Prix, he wants to get P2 in this Grand Prix. As they start lap 24 to 28. And Glock will be counting down the laps until the end of this Grand Prix, begging for no late safety cars, like we've seen in the last few rounds. As I see you're all getting involved, as Gav's talking about Total P's throttle control, seeing how good it was, and it definitely is. You can see there, he's running either needing traction or traction off completely, like I know a sister runner would do, and he's definitely using that to somewhat of an advantage here at Coulter. But Pillars is struggling with his pursuit of Glock. He's 7.2 seconds behind, and it looks comfortable now for Glock. I'm not going to jinx him just yet, but it looks good if you would want to take a race win here at Coulter. Meanwhile, down in P7 and 8, engine 6 and Droftas get close. Deliberate contact there between the BMW and the JCB. Droftas go for a move. Our championship leader, of course, goes down looks for the inside line, but engine 6 runs wide. This will be the opportunity for Droftas. Yes, it will be. And a move. Well, they're still going side by side a little bit there, but the Droftas gets the move done. And up into P7. Total P's has dropped off a little bit from Pillars, which will be good news for the MTV car. And Droftas gets his move done. And that looks like to be P7 as things stand for the championship leader, with his championship rival and teammate Polly Orange in P5. In a very good recovery race from Droftas in the JCB, who was down in P18 at one point after a spin, as Glock sets another fastest lap, a 1:44.513. That is a very good lap time for the Nintendo car. And getting 6 is too far behind to get a move done on the championship leader. And meanwhile, Pillars has pulled away. Pillars has pulled away a little bit, and he's going down a little bit now. And then he's been very quiet this race. He's done a solid job in P4. He's got a Polly Orange and Elon 5th and 6th. And top 6, Droftas P7, and Jet P8, Theo, and also down runs at the top 10. And saying that, there's a bit of a couple of cars here. Still this scrap between Matteo, also down, and Chaz. Obviously Matteo of 3 championship leader. Also down, he's doing a really good job in this race. And he is looking to get a move up into P9 to make it P8 and P9 for BMW, but I'm not too sure if he can get that one done. They're on lap 25, out to 28. The track is certainly drying up here at the Circuit of the Americas. There's far less spray coming from the tyres of the cars, so it does look like it's drying up a little bit. I don't think we will have time for some dry weather. If it was a full 100% race, the 56 laps, then we would have seen some dry running, I believe, with the way that this track's dried up. But it is looking good for Glock as things stand. If you're a supporter of Team Nintendo, or just Glock as a driver himself, we've all seen what he can do with Formula 4 in past times, when this league was called differently, and well, he's showing us what he can do. We've all seen his pace this season, and he's showing it yet again tonight. As they're on lap 26 out of 28. There's not much else going on except for that scrap for P9, but it's mainly this one between Infamous Pillars and Total P's who will get P2. Drop your comments down below in the chat. I'll make sure to read them out in the remaining laps we have here, and hopefully we'll be in set for an enthralling finish here in Austin. And hopefully we'll have some scrapping. Point 2. There's not much else going on, and Angelic 6 can't quite keep up with Droftas, but he's driven really solidly today. He's obviously gone to Q3, and he's driven really well. ZLP picks up a 3-7 time penalty. He's down in P13 in the Jaguar. There's still not much going on between second and third. I'm mentioning these drivers all night, Infamous Pillars and Total Ps. There's not much going on. The track looks really dried up now. You might even see some actually playing in the intermediates when it's dry in the last lap, but I don't think it'll be that type of dry enough. But it's certainly dried up massively since you move to intermediate conditions around about lap 10ish, something like that. Chaz is looking for moving all sorts down. He's lost a lot of time to Matteo, unfortunately. But can Chaz get up within the second? I don't think he can. As Cersei's put in a 3-second time penalty, and Streams and Bannister going at it again. But I think it might have been a bit of a mistake from our reserve driver tonight. His block starts his penultimate lap. So does Pillars. But I don't think that will affect Grand Prix in any way, shape. I think Block Scott is comfortable now. I agree with Gav. Downward invitations dropped Ashes up to 7. Meanwhile, Streams has lost a couple of positions here. Chewy and Bannister. They're flagging sector 2. That is all shot down. He's unfortunately had a bit of a moment at turn 9 and is down to P11. Should be a big shame for him. They're flagging sector 1. That might be for LP, who's lost control of the car. It's certainly dried up here, and the intermediate tyres are not working as well as they should. And Drogtas picked up another 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, and the track is certainly dried up here in America. And DRS has been enabled. DRS on intermediate tyres, who would have thought it? Would anyone fancy bidding for the fastest lap if they have enough time? I'm not too sure, but we should be in for them falling last couple of laps in America. They're going to be tiptoeing around in the intermediate conditions. Some of them have been going for 15 laps on the intermediate conditions. As Energetic 6 in fact gambles and goes on for the softs, see if he thinks will it work and maybe overtake Droftas, which would be very interesting indeed to see if that actually would work. Keep an eye out for him on this last lap. Meanwhile, Total Ps is closed up to Infamous Pillars, and the Inters have definitely gone. I agree with you. And there's overtakes going on left, right and centre now. I believe Chazza is pitting. There's also a few others as well. Matteo, all shot down, is in. I believe Xerxes is in. And Blaze, obviously the ghost car of Blaze. As they start the last lap, the top 3 have not opted for the soft tyres, and they're staying out here to Cortland. It's bone dry. The track looks dry enough for some dry tyres. The softs are on for some members of the field, but some are opting for staying out the extra lap on the intermediates, which is arguably a sensible thing to do. And obviously Pease will have DRS, so if he gets a good exit here from turn 11, you'll be able to have a run going into turn 12 with the drag reduction system. Open the little flap of the rear wing open as all shot down as a mountain. Shows how much pace the soft runners have. Also, there's going to lap their Pillars as well. And there's a puncher on Total Pieces front left. That will be his chances of P2 gone. And that will be a big blow for the Jaguar. Will he be able to get it home in time? And Danger will be looking like to step onto the podium all of a sudden. Meanwhile, the soft scraps are still going on down the bottom of the field. With Blaze and his X is still going at it. And Droftas is pitted, but he's going to lose out to Energetic 6 here in this Grand Prix. He's pitted a lap too late, and it's all going off. Yeah, it's quarter. Total Ps the puncher on the final lap. Do you think it's going to affect anyone else? But here comes Glock round the penultimate corner and into the final corner now. It's been a brilliant effort from the Nintendo car, and he comes out to the final corner to win the American Grand Prix. A brilliant drive on this intermediate when he was born try at the end, and it will be Infamous Pillars who will come across in P2, and it will just about on 3 wheels like Lewis Hamilton in the British Grand Prix. Total Ps for P3 and Dench P4, and it looks like Paulie Orange and Elon, who haven't picked up a single penalty all race. Oh, Paulie Orange with 3/10 of P4 there as he crosses the line in P5. Elon will come across the line in P6. and it will be Energetic 6 will cross the line in P7. A brilliant result from Glock, like what Ramsell and Gav are both saying in the chat. Thank you to the pair of them who have been very active and vocal in the chat to this race. There's Energetic 6, Droftas, Matteo and Chazza winning across the line. That's his no tip here, but I think it will be. There's Energetic 6. Certainly my pick for driver of the day. A brilliant performance him in qualifying and the race. And he nicks the fastest lap as well with a 1:34.713. Takes himself into P7. Droftas in P8. And it will be Matteo just about in P9, I believe, unless Chazza can say something about that. As we head into the final corner now. It's going to be close, but I believe Matteo will hold out just about. But Chazza collects the fastest lap of the Grand Prix right to the death. A brilliant Grand Prix. And Ryan there in the chat saying his intermediates on 87% with Blue Star picks up driver of the day, according to Codemasters, which is a really interesting one. And here comes our podium. Here is Glock in the Nintendo suit, picking up the winner's trophy for the USA Grand Prix Lando Norris style with the champagne. And it's been truly a brilliant race with punches, with VSCs. We didn't quite get a full safety car, unfortunately, but it's been quite a phenomenal race, and a race that will go down in the history books for Formula 4. Glock takes the win, as it looks like it's raining again in quarter, as it looks like on the background of the screen. Infamous Pillars P2 and Total P's with the last lap puncher, getting himself on the podium. And Denge P4, Paulie Orange P5, Elin P6, and 6 P7. No championship leader Droftas P8, Matteo P9, Chazza with the fastest lap in P10. All shot down. Bannister, Chewy, Bloomstar, Ice Streams, LP, Blazer was a ghost for the entire Grand Prix, X, and unfortunately Paul Watson and Sloth both retired from this Grand Prix. But we're right to the end as well for Paul, but that's a shame. And yeah, so there we are. That's our classifications. Glock taking yet another win here at the Circuit of the Americas. And yeah, Ramsell, that might be the most mentions you get all season. I'm not too sure on that one. That will be checked up with the rest of the team. But this will be a wrap for tonight. Unfortunately, we don't have any podium interviews because due to some difficulties with the PlayStation parties, it takes plenty of time for drivers to be added to parties nowadays. And unfortunate, but we will be back next week. Hopefully with a certain George Morgan in company. Just want to say, if you want to come back for next week for Monza, you will happily come back and take my slot. And just want, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it is yes_Thomas1. I believe I changed it this morning, so I did that this morning, and it is it's not a lie. It's yes_Thomas21. That is my new Twitter handle for the foreseeable future. And it's been a blast tonight. A brilliant Grand Prix. Brilliant result for Glock. Total P's crossing the line for P3 on 3 wheels. And I've been Yeston, and I'll see you next week.